Okay, thank you. Yes, as Neil says, if you have any question or something and you can't reach the speakers, you can reach me and I will get you in touch with them. So we are now in the part of Q&A, and Fernando is already leaving, but he has a question for you, Carolina. I'm going to read it for the audience first because maybe they are not reading. But Fernando asked if you can detail why you are using the approach focusing on services instead of assets, and then if you are then mapping the services affected when there is a disruption in an asset to understand the implication and measures to reduce the impact of the disruption.
Yeah. So there are two reasons behind focusing on services and not assets. The first one has to do with what I mentioned, that this is a very complex and cooperative sector. So maybe an asset is not affected per se, right? But if the energy sector is affected, then the service provided by the transport sector is affected, right? Even though the asset itself has not been affected, right? Because the infrastructure is running, but then due to the blackout, we are not able to provide the service, right? So this is why focusing on services help us incorporate all this multi-actor, multi-cooperation complexity that the infrastructure requires, right? That's the first reason. But the second reason has to do also with data sharing. And sometimes it's easier to have information shared in terms of the services provided than on the assets themselves, right? The asset information, the inner information of the infrastructure is more confidential, is more critical, and the service information can be shared. And we are indeed interested in the service, right? So if the service information can be shared, it's enough for us to understand the implications. And as Fernando was mentioning, indeed, we are looking at this cascading effect and seeing how one service affects all the other services, right? And even if an asset itself is affected, we see how it affects the services provided by the asset. So it can incorporate assets, but we eventually look at the impact it has on all the services provided by that asset.
Okay, thank you. I will let him know your answer.
Okay, thank you.
So if you have any question, you can open your mic or raise your hand or just write in the chat. If not, I think we can finish for today. And about the presentations, we will share them afterwards. So for the presenters, if you want to make any change or you want to delete anything, just let me know this week before we send to everyone. I see no more questions. So thank you for coming. Thank you for the speakers for your presentations, and I think we will see each other in the future in the next events.